What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with Sandoboy Gab and Mr. Power Rankings Maui. Balik
Dapat
Sandogang tayo
nakapolo ako
ngayon, guys.
Dapat nakapolo ako Pero si Maui, late kaya nagbihis na ako.
Nagbihis na. Wow. Wala ka kasi, late ka. So, kanina nakapolo si Gab. Kaya nagpolo ako. Tapos pagbalik ni Gab, nagsando naman siya. So, anyway.
Mainit
sa mga
na.
Fans ni,
Long sleeves polo.
fans ni Gab. Sa mga fans ni Gab, let us know. Or sa mga followers natin dyan. Are you team Sandogang? Hashtag Sandogang? Or are you hashtag Pologang para kay Gab? So, kung sino manalo dun sa hashtag na yun, sa next episode, Gab will wear that outfit. So, comment down below, hashtag Sandogang or hashtag Pologang. Anyway, let's get to the main attraction. So, last episode before the start of season 86, we wanted to do one last episode for you guys. We're all excited this weekend, and we have basically all teams playing, diba? 4 games this weekend. So, for today, we'll just do a quick prediction. Quick prediction lang on the results of this weekend's UAAP opening weekend. Okay? So, let me just recap. I'm looking at the UAAP page. Ang games natin this weekend, on Saturday, we have UE and UST during the first game, Ateneo versus NU during our marquee game, the second game at 4 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have DLSU versus FEU, so LaSalle versus FEU. And the last game of the weekend, UP Fighting Maroons versus the Adamson Falcon. So, ano ang mga predictions niyo sa mga games na yan? Let's start with the Saturday game. Let's do it chronologically. Let's start with UE versus UST. Maui, UST, and UE, two of the teams that are medyo at the bottom of your power rankings. So, sino sa tingin mo ang mananalo sa first game na to?
Sabi ni Coach Pido, basta manalo sila isang game, I think this weekend they will win their opening game like last season. Hopefully they don't go 0-13 the rest of the way. But I think this weekend, UST will surprise everyone with finally their lineup for this season. The lineup of UST was actually already uploaded in one of the Facebook pages ng UST. Most of them I really don't know, but I think this is the time that Nick Caballero will finally have that help that he needs. I think they're going big for season 87, but starting season 86, you can already see yung result ng efforts nila for recruitment. I'm very excited to see SJ Moore play in the UAAP. I think UST will pull out with the win. Probably UE will have to have Ray Remogat from UE will have to have a very big game for them to snatch the opening day weekend. And they're the host, so maybe he can surprise.
Gab.
Okay, so I'm gonna add something aside from a prediction. I'm gonna add something like what to watch for in this game. So my prediction is I think UST, same as Maui, I think UST is gonna come out with a win. Surprise everyone. I don't think UE has had the chance to scout UST. Well, no one has. No one has had the chance to scout UST. So I think UST is gonna pull out with the win. What am I gonna watch for this game? I want to see a shootout between Noy Remogat and Nick Caballero. Those are two guards who I think can vie for the Mythical 5. There are some subscribers some of our regular watchers who say that UST can enter the Final 4, maybe. So, yun, ako excited lang ako to see those two star guards go at it. Aside from that, I want to see some improvement from Adama Faye. I think I mentioned this in our last episode. I want to see if he's more than just a big guy who can dunk. I want to see him improve his free throw shooting, so that he doesn't become that. He doesn't become a guy like Shaq. He just foul him and to prevent 2 points because he can't hit his free throws. So there, I predict UST. And Gonna watch for those 2-star guards. I think everyone has to watch for those 2-star guards. Sam.
Okay, Maui and Gab picking UST. Actually, sa akin, among the 4 games, ito siguro yung pinakamahirap to predict for me because these two are probably the two most
Dahil sa
mysterious teams.
UST. Wala
Two
talaga
of the
tayong
most
alam.
mysterious teams.
Classic
So,
Pido
UST wala
Arenzo.
talaga tayong alam. Classic Pido Harencio.
Mysterious
Even the
off-season.
other sports analysts have mentioned that. But even sa UE, di ba? We thought Delvion Jackson was going to be the FSA, and then like people are saying it's not. I think they won like a Taiwan Cup or something recently, and makikita mo nga parang wala nga dun si Delvion Jackson. So even UE to me, I know they play during the preseason, but they're still a mystery to me. So it's really hard to predict. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think UST will surprise. People might not expect a lot from UST then, just like last year during opening season. So I think this is also their best chance to surprise. I think si Coach Pido, he wants to start with a bang also. So I think Coach Pido, Nick Cabanero, they're really raring to go and to prove themselves. So I'm picking UST, but it's really hard to predict. Could be a close game. We'll see. But I like what you said, Gab. Something to watch out for. I'm excited to watch this game, not just because this is the first time I'm going to watch UST, but Ray Remogat versus Nick Cabanero. That's an exciting matchup during the first game. Okay, let's move on to the second game of Saturday. Very exciting game for the three of us, I'm sure, and for a lot of our fans out there. Ateneo, the defending champs, versus the NU Bulldogs. Gab, you go first this time. Who do you think will win this game?
Is that a trick question?
Ba't ka natatawa? Ba't ka natatawa, ha? Ba't ka natatawa?
Is that a trick question? Well, of course, I'm gonna predict Ateneo to win this game. I'd be shocked if any of you predict NU to win this game. Mas surprise ako si Maui, sabi niya, NU pa nanalo. Okay, yun, mas surprise ako. Yeah, I'm picking Ateneo to win this game. Do I think if they're gonna be rusty? Yes, I do think there's gonna be bumps in the road. I think Coach Tab said it himself in the press conference in the UAAP. It's gonna be a lot of growing pains and a lot of growth is expected, especially in the first round. No? He said maybe second round you'll see the fruition of this team. The more mature version of this team will be in the second round. So I think you'll see a lot of experimentation, much like in season 85. Chris Kuhn at point guard, I could never forget that. Horrible thing to live through, that Chris Kuhn experiment. But yeah, something to watch for me for both teams. Who gets the bulk of the minutes at point guard? Well, for in NU's case, in the 2 guard slots, they have 2 veteran guards, Steve Nash Enriquez and Kian Baclaan, and they have other rising point guards, or yung rising guards in Reynald Humamoy, Don Lim, who's the other guy, Francisco, who's a shooter. So I'm interested to see how Coach Nash handles that rotation. Will he go with 2 small guards? That's maybe a defensive liability. But offensively, it might be better for them to have those guards play together. And for Ateneo, we all know Fortsky Padrigao is not in the team anymore. It's gonna be by committee with Espinosa, Brown, and Gomez playing as the point guards for this team. So I'm wondering who will start. In the Coach Tab typically never changes his starting. Well, he has never changed his starting 5. Diba? I don't think we've seen him change his starting 5 for a whole season. He usually sticks with one starting 5 for an entire season, and unless there's injuries, of course. But I'm interested to see who starts. Will it be Gab Gomez? Will it be Jared Brown or Ian Espinosa? In the preseason, they've all taken turns being the starting point guard. Will Gomez to the bench? His role last year was the first guard off the bench. So, good. That's something I'm watching for both teams. But of course, I'm predicting Ateneo to win. I'd be lying if I said that I predicted and that I'm gonna predict an upset by NU. Maui.
Okay, Gab. Gab picking Ateneo, Maui. Before you go and share your prediction, I think Gab, you made another good point regarding something that we need to watch out for dito. It's really the point guard slot for both teams. Ang ganda nung just comparison ng two teams, no? Because you mentioned NU, I would say like they have the veteran point guards, they have the proven point guards, but they also have like really good guards coming in. You have like juniors MVP and like Don Lim, who did really well during the preseason. With Ateneo, they also have a point guard problem, pero it's really like uh who's going to be like the main point guard or main star. So different problem, both point guard problems, but for different reasons. Really good point. Maui, sino ang pick mo? You picked NU as number 4 in your power rankings, Ateneo as number 3, but you did say na, they're pretty close. So who are you going to go with during the
Yeah.
first game of
Yeah,
season 86? Second game pala.
obviously, I'm picking Ateneo to win this weekend. I think
Yan.
Coach
That's the true
Tab-
Maui
Mga
right there.
homer. Mga homers
Coach
to
Tab
eh.
has had enough time to see that NU is the opening day opponent, and to the point that even in his presser, when people asked about Ateneo this season, he wanted to focus on NU. He wanted to put on the spotlight on the opening day. I think Ateneo needs to get that first win to really get the ball running. This will be a trying season, similar to the initial lineup that Tab handled. I think we've covered it mostly this preseason. Some people have flamed me for naming Ateneo as the third team in our power rankings last week.
Yung na forums ka, Maui.
Yeah.
Sa deep end of Twitter. Sabi na, bakit number 3 Ateneo?
Nagpapaka-underdog daw Ateneo. But again, we would just like to reiterate, those are preseason rankings. It's not an indication of where we think teams will be by the end of the season. But yeah, I think Ateneo is gonna win. Kai Balungay will probably have a very good game. I'm hoping he has a good game to start off the season. We picked him as one of the top potential MVP contenders for this season, and I think he has to start with a bang. Last season, he was very inconsistent. One game, he was one of the top scorers. Another game, he scored 0. For Ateneo to succeed this season, he has to be consistent every game. He has to be an MVP contender or even just a mythical team contender at the very least for Ateneo to compete. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Coach Tab doing some crazy experiment similar to what Gab mentioned, that Chris Kuhn playing point guard. I'm hoping that that finally pays off. I'm hoping that the practice, the experimentation on Chris Kuhn as a point guard would pay off this season, because we really need more ball handlers since we lost David Alfonso and Fortsky Padligao. But yeah, I think Ateneo is gonna win this weekend, but NU will it's gonna be probably a close game. We know NU had most of the tight games, probably tied with UP with most of the tight games during season 85. This team is literally a bulldog. They will fight for this game. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do get the upset, but I'm still picking Ateneo.
I think this is the game to watch in the weekend. Wouldn't you agree? Ako to yun.
Yeah.
Ito yun eh.
Yeah.
Well, aside
Yeah.
from
Out of the 4 games.
Atenista tayo,
Yeah, I think this is
but these are
the
two
game to watch.
these are two contending teams, no? And the games on Sunday, I don't think they're contending teams. Yung kalaban ng Lasal and UP, I don't think are contending teams necessarily. So I think this is the game to watch this weekend. If there's ever, kung wala kayong oras this weekend, wala masyadong oras, maraming gawain, I highly suggest this is the game you make your time to watch. Ateneo versus NU. Sam?
Okay, I'm picking Ateneo, but because the two of you picked Ateneo, I just want to build a case for NU. I think Maui, you mentioned it. This is going to be a dogfight. Kahit piliin natin Ateneo, this is going to be a dogfight. This is going to be close. If one of these teams breaks away early, it's going to end up being a close game. I have a feeling. it's not going to be easy, definitely, for Ateneo. And as you mentioned, Maui, I was gonna say the exact same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if NU would win. It wouldn't really be a surprise. Last year, I think NU won against Ateneo during the first round. Also,
Second
during
round.
Oil, second.
Second round.
Okay, during the Phil
Diba?
Oil preseason, I think NU beat Ateneo also. Though Ateneo won
All
against
UAAP teams
and
beat Ateneo.
all
In
UAAP. Well,
Phil,
that's true.
except
That's true.
UST, since UST did not participate.
That's true. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think though, Gab, if we're talking about like things to watch out for, I think for Ateneo, Maui talked about him. The player to watch out for me is Chris Kuhn. Why? Because he hasn't been good during the preseason. I like especially the most recent preseason games like ano ba yun, yung UCBL or something. He had like zero. He had like a game na 0 out of 9 or something like that, and more turnovers than points or something. So, really looking forward to how Chris Kuhn can bounce back. I know he came from injury, so he hasn't been really that healthy during the preseason. I haven't seen him recently play, but I think that's a guy to watch out for me for Ateneo. If he and Kai Balungay can combine and do well, I think it wouldn't be a problem for Ateneo. Those are the two vets I'm looking at. So at the end of the day, I'm picking
Another
Ateneo, but wouldn't be surprised with NU. Go Gab. One last thing before we move on.
another thing to watch for in this game for me, aside from the point guard battle, the point guard rotations for both teams, is the chess match between Coach Tab and Jeff Napa. I've always loved watching those two coaches play against each other. I do remember that game, Sammy, that Ateneo lost to NU in season 85. That was that final play where Coach Jeff Napa brought out a zone defense against Coach Tab's play, which was supposed to be for a man-to-man. It eventually led to a turnover by Ateneo and giving
Turnover.
NU the win. Yeah, I do remember that. I still think Jeff Napa is one of the best coaches. You possibly a rising star in the coaching scene in the Philippines. So I want to watch that. Again, this is the game to watch. Two great coaches, two great teams going at each other. Okay, let's go to Sunday.
Okay, let's move on to the Sunday game. First game will be LaSalle versus FEU Maui. Let's go back to you. LaSalle obviously in the first half of your, I mean, the top half of your power ranking where FEU didn't quite make the cut. Who do you have for the first game?
FEU ups, hindi, joke. No, I'm going with LaSalle, of course.
Oh!
I'm going with
Whoa.
LaSalle. LaSalle is the favorite for this preseason. I think they have to start on a good note this season. The drama between LaSalle and then their players last season was too much to handle. They ended the season as probably the most inconsistent team from last season. From one game as a title contender to another game as what they ended up as a non-Final Four participant. But I think LaSalle will win this weekend just because of sheer force. I think they will dominate the glass. Mike Phillips and Kevin Tiambao will have big games. And they have to win for Topex. These players have to understand that the LaSalle alumni are really crazy, and they have to get a win for their coach. I think in the comment section, one person mentioned na sana at least 5 years si Topex Robinson. I think LaSalle has to trust Topex Robinson for them to be successful.
Si Apo yun.
Si Apo, our friend Apo, yeah, our friend Apo mentioned that it's time to trust the coach. They had an off season to really look for a coach. I think they're one of the first teams to really, or officially, they're the first team to mention that they started training. So LaSalle has really been ramping up this off season, and I would be surprised if they lost their first game against FEU. But FEU can surprise. This team is coming off a season where they started 0-5, so I'm sure that they are very excited and very eager to get a win at the onset of the season. Also for their coach, rookie coach Denok Miranda. Coach Tab also had some very good words for Denok Miranda and all of the new coaches. I think for him, this is one of the top. This is one of the seasons where the coaching staff of the teams are really good. He probably complimented also FEU because one of the assistant coaches of Ateneo is already in FEU.
Si Gabby Severino.
Yeah, si Gabby
Gab.
Severino, one of the long-time assistant coaches with Coach Sandy. But yeah, I think barring any disasters from LaSalle, I think they should wrap it up and get the first win of the season. I think it's probably NU has a better chance of beating Ateneo than probably FPU beating LaSalle this weekend for me.
Wow.
Ako na ba, Sam?
Strong words from Maui.
Ako, I'm gonna swerve, and I think this is the game. This is the matchup that we're gonna see an upset, quote unquote. But I think FEU is gonna pull out a win against LaSalle. Oh, tama. Galit na wala sa dito. Tangin ng Atenista to. Basta matalo LaSalle. Pre-predict ni. Hater eh. No. Here's my thing. My thing to watch out for kasi is how LaSalle handles the turnovers. How LaSalle pulls it back. Because in the preseason, they haven't shown an ability to pull it back. You know, they run and gun, they play fast-paced, they play pressing defense, but they never seem to be able to pull it back, set an offense in the half court, and just execute, just move the ball around, execute, find the open man. They don't seem to be they haven't shown that they're capable of doing that. They've shown that they're capable of blitzing teams, just overwhelming teams with their size, their skill, their talent, and the speed in which they play. I think FEU has enough to keep up with LaSalle in terms of speed, and I think they could break the press easily. Again, FEU
They have
guards.
good guards. Yeah, they have good
When you
guards.
think of FEU, you automatically think they have amazing guards, and they do. LJ Gonzalez, there's been no indication that he's not playing in the opening weekend, so I think he's playing. There's LJ Gonzalez, Patrick Sleet, Cholo Anuevo can handle the ball. There were other guards last year. Si Bautista, I'm not sure if I haven't seen him play yet in the preseason. Baguno can do some ball handling duties, and Muhammad Fati, I think, can protect the rim. He's not that fast, not that agile as compared to Malik Ju, but he's big. He's 7'2" or 7'3", if I'm not mistaken. So I think they can break the press easily. What to watch for FEU though is shooting. Can they get enough shots to go in from the outside to keep up with LaSalle's offense? Because if they can't shoot and they can't spread the floor, I don't think they have a chance in this game.
20-point third quarter.
Again, it can't. Yep. And they can't rely solely on Cyrus Torres to be their lone shooter, to have all that gravity. Other people have to make their shots. I do hope we see some random new guy, maybe si Competente or whoever is going to be that new guy who can spot up and shoot. But yeah, I think this game has the most upset potential, aside from Ateneo versus NU, because I think NU has upset potential as well. But put me down for FEU getting the win over LaSalle. Bold. Sammy.
Bold prediction. Good point. Actually, I think the first three games that we talked about, I wouldn't be surprised if the other teams that we didn't pick won. But I'm not gonna overthink this. I'm gonna go with LaSalle. Maui made good points. Gabi made good points. I think with I was going to say actually the key thing that I'm going to watch out for FEU is maybe if I'm going to focus on a player, it would be Cyrus Torres. They relied on his 3-point shooting a lot last season, and I mean a lot. So he had.
They won their first
three-point
game when
shooting
Cyrus Torres finally hit his threes. Remember that?
Exactly. And so they really started they really had a bad start because Torres was not shooting well nung first few games niya. So really will depend on how, if I think depending on his performance and his shooting and the rest of the team shooting, then they'll be able to keep up with LaSalle. But I think LaSalle is just too big, too fast, too strong. I'm going with LaSalle. Let's go. Let's give Coach Topex his first win. Para sa'yo to, Apo. Para sa'yo to.
Let's give Coach Denok his first win. Let's go, Coach Denok.
Oo nga, tama. Si Coach Denok nga pala. New coach din nga pala. Though he was the assistant last year. No? Okay, let's go. Let's move on to our last game. UP versus Adamson. Sa totoo lang, ito yung medyo anticlimactic last game of the weekend for me. I wouldn't be surprised sa mga picks nyo, but let's just go ahead. Gab, who's your pick for UP versus Adamson? Are you going to swerve?
No, I'm not. Although, I did see in our previous video, in the previous episode, not a lot, a few Adamson fans really got into us for, I think in their power rankings, they really commented, no, they're really, sort of frustrated.
They can still
angry.
win.
Why we put,
yeah.
They're pretty angry with us for underestimating Adamson that much, or that we're putting them second to the last, or even me when I said that they're last. No, and they said that they have a lot of comebacking veterans, which is true. Yero, Sapandal, Manzano, Magbuhos,
Hanapi.
they're all still there. Yeah, Hanapi still there. So I think they can put up a fight for maybe a quarter or two, but there is no fucking way they're beating UP on Sunday.
Drop the F-bomb.
I know I started off praising Adamson and suddenly saying, but yeah, listen, UP is just too talented. Their third five can be a starting five for any UAAP team out there. See mo yung third string center nila is probably si Gagate or si Pablo, diba? Behind si Alter and si Juf. Oh, starting caliber center na yun sa isang school sa isang team. So, honestly, I think if Adamson can keep it close in the first half. Historically, this UP team coached by Coach Gold has historically started slow in almost every game. They usually keep it close until halftime. Then in the third quarter, they ramp it up and they just blow teams away or come back and then win the game. So I think UP is gonna win. Not handily. What I'm watching out for again sa UP, how do they play? Their multitude of talented players. I'm interested to see who plays in among all those guards. I mean, we can slot in JD and probably Janjan to play at point guard, but you know, there's Terence Fortea who played backup last year. There's Cancino, there's Alarcon, Abadiano. So I'm interested to see how that works. I think mas stable na yung front court nila, but the back court, I'm gonna watch for that. For Adamson, I am gonna watch for one guy, si Montebon. One of our commenters in the last episode said to watch out for this guy, si Montebon. And he did remind us that this guy did beat Ateneo in the Philoy with a buzzer beater. I did watch that game. I think you and I, Maui, we both watched that game. Diba?
Yeah.
Yung tambak yung Adamson, then suddenly natalo Ateneo. So,
Mabol.
yeah, yep. So I am watching si Montebon. I mean, he's being hyped up by some of our Adamson followers here. So let's see what he has. I don't think Jerome is gonna play. I'd be very surprised if Jerome plays on Sunday. But if he does, then that'd be crazy.
If he plays,
but if he does play, I think Adamson can get that maybe 1% or 2% chance to upset UP. I mean,
Maui.
Or
Yeah,
Maui. Or Maui. Sorry.
I would have to agree with Gab. I'm just excited to see UP and Adamson. Adamson will watch out for Montebon. He beat Ateneo with the buzzer beater nung Phil Oil. But I think UP will definitely win this game. I'm definite that UP will win this game. It's crazy. It's just Malik Diouf will win the game. Does Adamson even have a capable foreign student athlete for this season? That's the question. It's not even
Malay mo,
about Jerome.
meron.
It's not even about Jerome Lastimosa, but Malik Diouf is just far and away too good as an FSA this season, and not having Luenda Duwanga will hurt a lot for Adamson. I think if you watch yung UP sa games nila during the preseason, most of the games Malik Diouf just dominated 20 minutes, and then he sat down most of the second half because UP had a big lead. But yeah, I think si Abadiano has been performing well. I think yung games nila against KBL teams, if I read it right online, some of their players were out. Sila Fortea were out. And Abadiano has stepped up. I think UP, as Gab mentioned, even the Team C, third team ng UP, third five ng UP can compete in the UAAP. It's crazy how this team continues to recruit. They just announced another recruitment, another foreign student athlete. I think they're third for next season. They can't play them all. I'm not sure what UP is doing. They're just stacking it up. But yeah, I think the thing to look out for this game, I think, is really who from the 15, 16 players from UP will solidify their role in the rotation. I think all of the 16 guys will be very excited to play in the UAAP. I'm excited to see Francis Lopez. I'm sad to see him play for UP, not for Ateneo. I was a big fan when he was still playing in Ateneo High School. But I have to give props to the UAAP committee for allowing him to play. This kid deserves to play. He hasn't played a professional match. It's just a contract. I'm happy that the UAAP board executive committee led by Mr. Sagisag is progressive. I think we're going in the right direction in terms of player eligibility. But yeah, I would be surprised if Adamson beat UP, but Adamson was a team that surprised a lot of teams, especially in second round last season, even without Jerome Lastimosa. So maybe some of these players have developed their game and we'll see something new come Sunday. But I'm expecting an emphatic win by UP this Sunday, just because all 16 guys will be very excited to play, and all 16 guys are hungry to get minutes to solidify themselves in the rotation. Dami.
If anything wild happens on Saturday, on Sunday, we'll be there doing an emergency podcast. Like if Jerome Lastimosa plays and scores 30 points and beats
Masaya.
UP,
Masaya kung may surprise.
Masaya,
diba?
and
parang,
you can bet we'll be there Sunday night. We'll be uploading an episode.
Parang opening day ng NCAA. Imagine Letran and CSB, both of the teams that made it to the finals, lost on opening day.
Lost.
So who knows? Maybe
0-2 na ata Letran diba?
Maybe
0-2.
UP and Ateneo will lose this weekend, but I'm putting my money on Ateneo and UP. Definitely UP of all the teams will start the season 1-0.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. UP versus Adamson. I think it's going to be an easy win by UP, especially if Jerome is not playing. But I think for the Adamson fans, we do have Adamson fans. We know that. So, huwag kayong mag-alala. I think this is a good opportunity for us to like figure out what Adamson plans to do, or how they plan to adjust to playing without Jerome for the at least short term. I think Jerome did say that whatever happens, he's going to play in his final year. So nice to hear the fighting spirit in him. He's always been a fighter. So prayers for Jerome. I hope we get to see him, but I hope he gets better, and I hope we get to see him. It's just the first game. I guess like my point is for Adamson and for all the teams here, sino man manalo, sino man matalo. It's just the first game. What's important is we're really excited that it's the start of season 86. So those are our predictions. We can't wait to watch the first 4 games this coming weekend. And as Gab mentioned, manalo man, matalo, win or lose, meron tayong episode on Sunday night to recap all the games. So stay tuned for that. And before we end this podcast, our last podcast before the start of the season, comment down below your predictions. Let us know who you think will win and why. So, again, like, pick your teams. Tell us why you think your teams will win. We love the insider info. We love all the details and stories that you share with us. Mga secret players to watch out for nyo. We love that. See you again on Sunday. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Help us out. See you on Sunday. Bye-bye.